Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Hey, everybody. We back again.
We're back again. We're back.
There it is. I'm Spencer. And of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Nas.
Babyface, Dr. Nas.
Yes.
Baby, just fat head like a
Baby
baby.
face with hair on it. Yeah.
That's an Arab baby. That baby, Arab or Turkish?
Bigfoot or Arab? I don't know.
Got that pipe too.
Yeah, you know. All right. So for this intro, we don't have to do much because we have a new intro for the show.
We do.
And so for this one, hey, don't take us too seriously.
Or do. That's up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's it. That's it for the intro.
Let's do
It's
it.
so much better.
Yeah.
Don't have to talk so much. All right. So today we're going to be talking about a green guy.
Jesus.
He was green. Yep. Jackass. Close. It's The Mask. Whoop, wrong side. I'm reversed.
Other side. You just showed this t-shirt, you piece of shit. You suck at this.
Oh, it's already going great. All right. So we're doing The Mask today. Featuring Jim Carrey. You know, one of the classics of Jim Carrey. And it was from the year I was born, 1994. Yes, we're doing it. We're going old school on this one. So today we're going to be talking about a few different topics. Obviously, masking, because why not, right? Why not?
Yeah.
Also, we're going to be talking about some of Naz's clients. They don't. They say things that he might have never heard before. He might have never heard before.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell?
We're also going to be talking about hospitalization as long as going to jail and getting in trouble. So we have so many things to talk about on this Monday pod. And if you don't know, Monday pods are just me and Nas.
Me and Nas.
Me and Nas talking the shit.
Talking this. It's a Monday potty. Potty pod. A Monday potty pod. Full of shit. TM.
Anyways, we're going to be getting into it. Nas, anything?
It's a Monday potty pod. Monday pod. What's today? Today's the 5th, 6th? What the hell is today?
It's
9th?
the 7th.
The 7th. Oh. We're about to be officially trademarked on the 9th. Is that when is that? Tuesday?
2 days. So Tuesday.
So let's do that. Got to switch all the stuff, put a little TM on there. TM. Anytime you say Different Spectrums podcast together, TM. If you don't say
So many
TM,
people say that in one sentence.
The one sentence. And you say it in one sentence, I'm going to sue you.
I heard it.
10 cents. 10 cents. Yeah, today, so we're going to do the mask. We're going to have some fun. Obviously, we're going to talk about masking with the mask, without the mask, how the mask does help us in certain places. Every neurodivergent podcast, every autistic podcast, ADHD podcast talks about masking. This one, we're going to have some fun and kind of talk about this therapist that he's seeing. And he's like, holy shit, you're kind of crazy. You might be delusional. And how clients say things maybe they think that I haven't heard before, but I've heard like a million times. So they're like, you ain't gonna believe this. They're like, I'm crazy. And I'm like, Sure. Sure.
Gee.
And then we're going to talk about how sometimes, though, when we do unmask, that people are like, "Bleh." And then we end up in this metaphorical jail. So let's talk about it. Let's get in it. We got some stories, maybe a little Cat Williams in there, maybe with some job stuff, maybe, yeah. Whoop whoop. I didn't hear anything.
Whoop whoop.
There it is.
Hey everyone, before we get into the show, please check out our collaborator, Bubs Naturals. They sell a variety of health and wellness products, including collagen peptides, MCT oil powder, coffee, apple cider vinegar gummies, and other amazing products. Go to bubsnaturals.com and use our code DSP20 to get 20% off your entire order. And with that, let's get into the show.
The book is about masks as a metaphor, Mr. Ipkiss. A metaphor, not to be taken literally. You're suffering from a mild delusion.
All right. I'm gonna prove it to you. But I am not responsible for the consequences. Just sit back and enjoy the ride, Mr. Expert.
You don't scare me, Mr. Ipkiss. Go right ahead.
See ya. Okay. You said Loki was a night god. Maybe it only works at night.
Mr. Ipkiss, I feel I should warn you that I don't work personally with really sick people. They're private institutions for things like that. However, if you would like me to arrange for a safe environment for you tonight, I can do that.
I've got to see Tina. But what do I do? I mean, do I go as myself or the mask?
If I tell you, you promise to leave my office right now? All right. Mr. Ipkiss, go as yourself and as the mask. Because they are both one and the same beautiful person.
Hello, Stanley.
What are you doing here?
Is it true? You're the mask.
Yeah, but don't tell anybody. If I get a good lawyer and strike up a deal, I can be out of here in about 10,000 years. You're taking a chance coming here. Your boyfriend might be a little upset.
He's going to the charity ball tonight. He's gonna do something terrible.
Like what? The lambada?
Stanley, this is serious. There's gotta be a way to stop him. How does it work?
I don't know. It's like it brings your innermost desires to life. If deep down inside you're a little repressed and a hopeless romantic, you become some sort of a love-crazy wild man.
And if you're somebody like Dorian?
And we're all in big trouble. And if I were you, I'd get out of town. Fast.
Thanks.
For what?
Lots of things. For sharing a sunset with me. For being the only guy who treated me like a person and not some sort of party favor. For being any kind of romantic. Even a hopeless one.
You're welcome.
You know that night at the club? I knew I'd found someone special.
The mask.
It's the guy inside the mask. It's you, all alone. Stanley.
Okay, lady. Time's up.
Could I have just one more minute?
I've got to disappear for a while now, Stanley. I don't know where I'm gonna go, but I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Hey, everybody, we back again.
We back. And we're live. I literally have no neck.
I've told you this so many times.
Like
I don't know why you don't listen.
Just sitting there. I think when I have black shirts on, it kind of like fades in. The white shirt just makes it look like.
No, you can wear any color you want. You still have no neck.
Just looks like a big potato.
With some butter on it.
I kind of look like the fucking peanut from the peanut can. It's got the same shape where it's little on
Are you
top.
talking about Mr. Peanut?
Yeah, Mr. Mr.
Where's your monocle at?
I look like the Mexican Mr. Peanut.
Look, am I saying that one year you should just have a top hat and a monocle and just go out like that?
Mr.
Yes,
Peanut.
I am saying that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I got that Coke bottle face. Hey girl, I got them curves. It's just in my face.
It's supposed to be the body, not the head. But you defy all the odds. You know?
Hey girl, I'm not even gonna say it. Yep.
Good.
I put it on you. All right. We back.
Yeah, we're back.
we back. I was supposed to make some jokes about getting my.
Probably been back too long.
I'll get to this. I'll save the jokes for the next goddamn podcast. Whatever.
Okay.
What are we doing here? Continue.
I don't know anymore. What are we doing?
Want to see my water bottle for today?
God, you're just so hood. It's amazing. Got any grape drink in there too?
It's like 5 different things together.
I'll be honest. I didn't think grape drink was a real thing until one day at Cub. I actually bought some grape drink. It was so high in sugar. It was crazy.
Oh yeah. You instantly, your toenails just fell off.
Pretty much. I had no toes afterwards. I'm like, where'd they go? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
There's just a collection plate of toes in there.
Got that grape drink, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So today we're talking about The Mask. If you haven't seen The Mask, you should. It's a great movie. Jim Carrey, he was on a long line of movies. I think it was like Ace Ventura, this, and Dumb and Dumber, I want to say. Those were like the 3 movies that came out, blew up. And so for this movie, it's about a guy named Stanley Ipkiss, and I'm supposed to be doing a wrong. I just realized I'm supposed to be doing a wrong. It's about a white guy who got a green face.
It's about a white man trying to be a black man. Smooth. I don't know. Stereotype. I'm getting canceled for that.
Big teeth? I don't know.
Oh my God. He can dance. Oh, I feel like these are all stereotypes. We're gonna backpedal away from this.
Yeah, we're going backwards. Anytime we say some bad shit, we just go.
I'm gonna just go ahead.
We're gonna be moving our shoulders a lot in this show. So
Stanley Ipkiss.
Stanley.
He got a black
this
name.
mask. Finds his mask in a river, puts it on, and he turns into this crazy, energetic green guy, and gets the girl. He gets the girl. Gets a young Cameron Diaz. Man, I'm not gonna lie. Cameron Diaz back in the day.
Boy. Hot tamale. Jim Carrey looked good
I
too.
don't normally like white women, but let me tell you, early Cameron Diaz. I tell you, boy. I tell you.
Jim Carrey's looking good too. That's back before he went crazy.
Crazy, but you know what? Crazy like a fox. All right. Crazy like a fox.
More like a rabid badger.
Well, you know what? Hey, happens.
Yeah.
Dude literally impersonated Andy Kaufman for a whole movie.
Saw that.
Yeah. And he was like, no, like he embodied me. I was like, yep.
You saw the Dave Chappelle thing, the joke about it?
Oh yeah. So
I'm not going to repeat
Me
that
too.
one because I don't think our cast would like that. But that was intense.
Who the fuck is this? Want to meet Jim Carrey, not
Yeah.
Andy Kaufman.
Okay.
So yeah. And before we really get into everything, shout out to Cat Williams and Shannon Sharp uh for an amazing podcast. Has like 2 million
Yeah.
views last time I saw it.
Yeah. In
It
like
was
2 years.
at
Yeah.
for a 2 hour interview. Like that's crazy numbers for an interview like that.
Yeah.
Blew up the internet.
Blew it
Um,
up.
Shout out to Cat Williams for truth bombing everything
Yep.
and saying the way it is, and he even said in this show, he was like, they're not gonna say anything because I got the receipts. I got the receipts.
And
So
overseas.
shout out to you and keep doing what you're doing. Keep being you, man. Can't beat that. Love a guy who just wants to be himself. Gotta love it.
Who was it? Well, didn't Cat Williams try to fight some kid? Some kid beat his ass a couple years ago. That was like 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
but we're not talking about that,
I
are
know.
we?
I just thought it was funny. I remember that. Okay, whooped his ass.
He did. I mean, he's like 5'2". What
I
are you
know.
gonna do, man?
Hey,
What are you gonna do?
I love
Five
beating up
five.
little people.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you something. But he did. You know what? He's a fast. He's a fast man. Let
He
me
can
tell
be
you.
fast.
Posted a video. He was doing like a 4-4.
Oh wow,
Yeah, he actually did a 4-4. So I was impressed.
little people fast.
Duke can run.
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I get in for like 10 seconds. I'm
I'm just like I defer.
like, not doing this. Sorry.
Can we do bench press?
Yeah, bench press. Don't want to. No 40-yard dash.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah. So we're gonna be taking a look at this film. Um, and I think one of the first things that we want to talk about was masking, right? Masking.
And why
Probably
did
the perfect film
it
to talk
is?
about masking.
So why did you pick it? Because you're the one you normally kick it to me. Why did you pick this film? I mean, obviously the masking. I'm not a fucking idiot.
I'm a huge Jim Carrey fan, so anytime we can.
Sorry.
Sponsored by Ocean Breeze. Drink it out the freaking the cup. Why not?
Hey, that Mexican guy did it and blew up.
True. Unique on a skateboard.
That's not happening. I did a few times, and like Robin Big, the big guy always falls hard. Yeah.
Fell hard, didn't you?
Did.
Hmm.
Right on the yeah. So
Anyways,
why'd you pick the show?
yeah, I picked it because not only do I love The Mask, it's one of my favorite movies, but also because it has some great scenes, especially Stanley Ipkiss, aka Jim Carrey, of how he just has no confidence at all. He's, a guy who's down, seems like he's down on his luck all the time. And then finally something comes into his life that makes him different and he can actually be different. Um, and nobody can really hurt him when he becomes different, right? So I kind of see the mask as a metaphor, as us kind of putting on the actual mask, and then nobody can kind of hurt us once we put on that mask. But then once we take it off, we're kind of back to our old Stanley Ipkisses,
Yeah.
and we're a lot more gentle, a lot more innocent, maybe. Because this dude, all he does is watch like old school cartoons and just wants to be the funny guy in
Yeah.
everything. And so I can really relate to that because I literally do that all the time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of other people do too.
Yeah,
So I
listen
think
to this
it'll be
yeah.
relatable,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah.
So question for you. Well, usually, if you're a college student listening, then you get liquid confidence from drinking alcohol or other drugs because you're stupid.
Hey, everybody listening, you a dumbass.
Hey, I said it better in a better voice.
Sure.
So for you and for everyone else, what kind of gives you that little bit of that social confidence? What helps you get ready for it? Is it a certain item or clothing? Is it maybe, caffeine? What helps you, allows you to like people when you need to people? Because I've seen you people. Sometimes it's better than others. So what helps you put you in that mode?
I would say for me, it's mostly just I like it. I need like a warm up to kind of get started. I need to have like conversations, especially if I've been like chilling by myself for a while. I need that like kind of like warm up to really get into talking to people.
Okay.
That's one thing. And then also, I would like to say like when I like go out and like have an outfit or something like that, that helps. But honestly, it's for me, it's mostly about just trying to just communicate um and get started in a conversation. Now, if I'm talking to somebody you know, who don't either share like the same interests or maybe I just don't find like, I'm just like I just don't think like the vibes right. My conversations don't really come off probably as well as they do. I'm probably a lot more quieter.
Yeah.
But when I actually have something to talk about with people, then that's when
It's
it
easy.
really helps. Yeah. I think my confidence mainly comes from like having other people kind of also being there and being able to hold a conversation with me. That helps a lot. Otherwise, I'm a lot more quieter. I'm a lot more in the background. Um, because if you don't let me shine a little bit, then I'm just kind of like, why am I even talking at all?
So here's an example. When we went to the Colts game a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
people were coming up. It was like 3, 4 people come up to you talking to you about Vikings and this and that, right?
Mhm.
And your mojo was good, but it was also a topic that you knew, and then it was a shared interest with
Yeah.
other folks in fantasy football. So right, you were like doing your thing and talking. When no one
Yeah.
talking to me, they're like, "Fuck this guy."
Detroit. Ugh.
Bah. They're like Vikings. They're like, "Yeah, we'll talk to this guy."
Yeah. And I don't get it personally sometimes because when people come, like they think, like, I don't know what they think. They just like start talking to me. They're just like, hey, man, when I don't have like a face at all that goes like, talk to me, I'm usually like, yeah.
No, they're like, "I want to come talk to you." Yeah, they came. Multiple
I'm
people
like, I
came
don't
up
know
to you.
why.
Yeah, they kept coming up to you.
I guess I'm just non-threatening.
You're a trustworthy white man.
Yep.
You one of the good ones.
I'm one of the good
You one of
ones.
the good one.
Not gonna tell him my background because then I'll probably get shot.
So this is a good question.
Yes.
We're gonna do a little pivot, and then we're gonna get into some stuff. Me therapizing the scene.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we were a bunch of the therapists talking the other day, and we were talking, making fun of like you people, this and that, and we were talking about you one of the good ones.
Mm-hmm.
If someone calls you one of the good ones, me and my other friend, he was like, "That's probably not a good thing." He's
Not
like, "I
really,
don't."
probably. It's not a good thing.
Yeah, I was like, because that means like you're like one of the like accepted ones, or maybe one of the pseudo white
Come
ones,
out
or
from the field. You coming in the house now.
yeah. I was like, because my homeboy's like, he's Indian, and he's like, yeah, I'm one of those token, no, not token white people. What do they call it? No, the perfect, not the
Token.
perfect ethnic. There's like a model. What do they call it? They call a lot of Asian folk.
Token.
It's like
Token.
a token or like a model minority. There it is, model minority.
Ah,
Yeah, and I was like, yep. Yeah, if they say like you're one of the good ones, yeah, you might need to like think about like who you're around. Or even if you're like autistic and you're like, you're not one of those autistics. You're one of the normies. Jesus.
not really. No, you don't really want to hear that. I think it I think it's a couple things, right? I think that goes along with like you don't want to be seen as somebody who's like just trying to fit in.
Yep.
But then also I mean, to go along with that, you also don't want to be someone who is not seen as like unique at all. Somebody who doesn't have their own type of thinking, because that could come with some bad things as well. Because
Good.
then now you're just going along with everything that those type of people are saying, no matter who it is. I mean, that could be for any culture.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to go with everything that your one culture is saying all the time, because that can get also very tiring, and maybe that's not who you are.
Yeah. So let's backtrack a little bit. Normally we say or we hear you're one of the good ones. It's usually when you're in a marginalized identity or right
Mhm.
on a minority group, and it's one of the larger majority groups saying that to you. So take it as is it's a bunch of white folk, and there's me, and like is you one of the you're not one of those like Arabs or one of those Mexicans. You're one of the good ones. Your people immigrated here the right way. you're hardworking and you can read. I'm like, I can't read, but okay.
Fooled you.
I got you. So that's when they say you're one of the good ones. If it's racist, but it's like a subtle racism. They could say that for, gender stuff, trans stuff. They could say that for socioeconomic and class system stuff.
Pretty much, you're not going to cause a problem.
Correct. Like you fit in with us, and I'm like, oh, damn, I'm fucking up.
So what do you do when you hear that?
I actually, thankfully, have never heard that. Pause. I think I have heard that in the gym. And I remember like stopping my boy. I'm like, bro, what the fuck you talking about? He was an older dude. It's always older white dudes. It was interesting. It's weird because you get put in this weird position because they think maybe you're articulate, maybe you're like professional or like holding yourself in a certain way. Oh yeah, you're one of the good ones. I hear it a lot when it comes from like, and the women say it with kindness, not like badness. They're like, one of the good ones, Nas. You're one of the good few, like good dudes out there. I'm like, I appreciate that because I feel like that one that's not as bad. Like you're one of the good ones. When Spencer's like, you're a piece of shit.
Fuck you. You're one of the nice ones that I'm never gonna get near on a relationship level.
Yeah.
Hello, you one of the good friends.
You're a good friend. That's after I asked him out like 6 times.
Oh, you're a friend. You're a good friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really nice.
It does.
Doesn't hurt at all.
Doesn't hurt at all, girl. Killing me softly with his words.
Trademark.
Yep, trademark. What was I going to say? Recently, and then we're going to get back to the show. A student was like, yo, man, I think I did some really awesome like healing after our first session. I was like, oh, for real? Something I said is like, nah, man, just you. Like, what? It's like you just being just a large dude and like the large brown dude. And I'm a brown dude. And you're a brown dude. I feel like I'm talking to Good Burger right now. I'm a dude. He's a dude. Because we're all dudes. Hey.
We're all dudes.
That's pretty cool. I was like, yeah, man, that's for real. Like just being in front of another man, another masculine man, talking about emotions and feelings and pain and crying and suffering. It could be really fucking healing. That was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to hear that last week, to see this person in front of me being like, this was fucking awesome.
Right.
Because I don't really get to see a lot of black and brown students anymore. It's mostly, white folk, which is fine. But, it's nice to be able to heal people. When you're working with a lot of white folks, Spence, you're healing people, but in different ways. You're like solving like racism and masculinity shit like instantly. They're like, I can feel it. The student's like, you want the good ones. I can feel it.
Like, no.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
it works.
I'm telling you, sometimes they'll leave my office and I'm like, hey, remember it was a brown dude that helped you out. So, when your parents go to vote and shit,
Think about that brown person.
Think about that one brown guy that stopped you from hurting yourself. You son of a bitch.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Straight up. I'd be trying to solve racism in my office.
It's going to get fixed in here while you're on a beanbag chair.
I remember I bought that beanbag chair. It was too big. The whole fucking office. It's like, what the fuck? But the show mask, as we pivot back.
Okay.
Right. There's a couple different points here. And the first one, he talks about, hey man, I'm gonna put this mask on. You're gonna see some crazy shit. I don't know what you're gonna see, right? And then he puts it on. He starts doing all these faces and shit, like because he's thinking he's gonna come to full fruition of this like suave, like the opposite. What's Steve Urkel's alter ego after he goes into Urkel mode? What the hell was that?
Actually, yeah. I forgot what it was called.
I know,
because he had a couple.
Yeah, it was the one. Yeah, it was
alter ego. It was Stefan Urkel.
Stefan
Urkel.
Yeah. And I think it's always funny, man, because they'll come in the office, they'll be like, "No, I'm scared to tell you." I'm like, it's fine. Trust me, I've heard it a million times, whatever it is. They're like, no, you ain't never heard this before. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, it's going to be suicidality, homicidality, maybe some obsessive thoughts with like some type of sexual thing or dysfunction, maybe, some weird stuff that I don't feel like talking about right now on the pod when it comes to sexual issues. And like harm OCD, maybe it's that stuff. Maybe it's their cycle. Maybe we're talking about, the emotions and period and hormonal regulation. And they're like, I don't know, man. I'm like, hey, maybe it's talking about a loss, an abortion. Because I've had those. And they're like, man, I can't talk about it. I never told anyone. And I always tell students, like, I have heard so much shit. Like, you will not surprise me. I don't think I've been surprised in years, dude.
Yeah.
So they'd be sitting there shucking and jiving and doing all that shit. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard that. Yep.
So when they kind of give you, once you give them that response, what's their reaction to it? They're like, oh, okay.
They're like, so I'm not crazy? Yeah, no. You're like, you don't even break like the top 10 of crazy. But like, I'm about to like murder myself. And I'm like, yeah.
Heard it.
Yeah, heard it. You haven't really thought it out that well. So
I would have done this. So just saying.
This is not a good plan.
This is not going to work.
No, at all.
Which is good, but it's not going to work.
You want to see intrusive thoughts? They bought us lanyards because they want us to wear name tags and shit in the office. And so it was a lanyard. And so I was holding it like this. And then I just instantly, while everyone's in the room, just go like this.
Jesus.
And he's like, it's a breakaway, Nas. I already thought of it. And then he like just yanked on it. And then it broke away.
Didn't break fast enough.
Intrusive thought. It's just so interesting. Every time the students are terrified. I guess I want to talk about this because it's a magnificent point.
Mm-hmm.
Is that I'm not going to judge you. The same individual that said it was awesome to talk to, I said they were scared to come into therapy because what are they going to talk about? And that person's just going to judge me when I leave the office. I told the human, I don't give a shit about you. I got so much other shit going on. I'm trying to help you win, trying to help you out right now. But I'm not judging you. I don't know you. I'm no better than you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no better than you. I said, matter of fact, you're a better person than me. They said, well, you help people for a living. I'm not the best person. You're actually like nice. Yes. So
I think I've had that too, though. It's where like people want to tell me something and they're like, I don't know, it's kind of bad. And I'm like, I literally, like, it's not the fact that I don't care. It's more about like, I could not care less.
I'm not going to judge you.
Like you're about to tell me.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to judge you on what you say.
Yep.
It depends on severity of it,
yep.
right? Depends on severity of it. Where, that's when the like serious Spencer comes out.
Yeah. Rarity.
But, so it's just like, oh yeah, I stubbed my toe. I'll be like, watch where you're going, bitch.
Yeah.
It all depends, but at the same time, it's like, it's so easy not to judge somebody because it's like, who cares? And like anything can happen in this life.
Let's sit and listen.
Yeah. And it's so crazy to me sometimes where like people just don't get that. Like there have been tons of people who have been in your situations. No one's gonna like, yes, people do judge others on a lot of things. But at the same time, when it comes to like therapists and things like that, what are they gonna fucking they hear this shit all the time.
Yeah, all the time. All the time. And I hear some horrible stuff sometimes. And I hear like some racial stuff or some really misogynistic stuff. And I'd be like, I'm gonna roll with this. I'm gonna roll with this. I'm gonna work with you on some of this stuff, but technically it can't be my agenda. It needs to be their agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And I just say this, it's so interesting. Like I've dug in deep. Sometimes you end up talking about, I'm like, hey, you're going over anxiety and like, how's your poop? And they're like, what? I don't want to talk about poop. You constipated? You shitting everywhere? How many times you shit? 6 times a day. Jesus.
Much. Maybe something wrong there.
Yeah, we talk about stomach related issues, right? We're talking about cycle. And they're like, oh yeah, I haven't had my cycle in like 3 months. I'm like, oh no, this is not. How's the birth? Well, no, I'm birth control. What do you eat? See, you got to really talk about it. And a lot of people are terrified to talk about these topics because they're very personal. Then sometimes you get into people's sexual lives when it comes to, different things like porn, masturbation, self-discovery, seeing, where are they at and sexuality when it comes to queerness or being asexual. And we talk about a lot of different things. And you talk about intimacy and what you like and don't like and how you should advise your partner and this and that. And what are we doing? And I'm sitting there, Spence, like I've never in a million years thought I would be having these conversations with students. I'm like, yeah, that, they're like, yeah, that, my partner, they're like, yeah, partner wants to peg me. I'm like, you know what that means, right? Just make you. Oh, okay. You know what that means? Oh, okay. And you're cool. I'm cool if you're cool with it. I just want you to make sure you know what this means.
Look, let me tell you something. Like Cat Williams said, if my goal in life is mainly to have a virgin butthole throughout my entire life,
Hey,
and I'm not everybody, but at the same time, I'm just letting everyone know right now,
right now.
virgin,
Hey,
virgin butthole.
Sometimes you just gotta let it fly.
Sometimes you just gotta let your white and muscly friend do things.
It could be soft, Uh-huh. The conversations I have are magnificent with clients. I think the scariest one, people are cool talking about suicidality. Trigger warning for some of the stuff coming up now. So if you got any like stuff, you might want to skip like a minute or two. But we'll talk about, self-harm, whether that comes to hair pulling, cutting, like legit planning. We'll talk about hospitalizations in the past. Maybe we'll talk about like sexual traumas from the past. That'll come up and you're like, I haven't told anyone this, like not friends, not family members. I haven't reported this. I have to kind of go through the law and like, hey, do you want me to report this? And they're like, no. Okay, so we're going to do some trauma work now. And it can get intense and you'd be like, so I'm messed up, huh? And I'm like, dude, you're like, not even, I've seen messed up. Yeah, we can get you good. We can get you good. We can shine this shit up. We can get you running, ripping. You're going to be fine. But everyone thinks that they're like the worst or the most fucked up. Everyone thinks they're the worst, bro. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. They're like, the mask. He's like, just wait. And I'm like, okay. Yeah.
So do you see that more with like younger clients that you have, or do you also see that with older clients as well?
So I see a lot of young students. And so the first time they ever go to therapy is like, 19, 20, 21. But I've seen it in my older clients as well. I'm like, hey, this might be this and this might be this. That's why you're acting like this. And I'm like, oh, I never thought about it like that. That insecurity, which he talks about in the second scene, which we'll get to a little bit later. To tell people your most private, intimate moments and to be judged, whether it's gross or dumb, insufficient, weird, weak. It's very scary to be vulnerable. And so to come to a therapist, you assume that they're going to judge you like everyone else. And I'm a large boy. And they're like, this big motherfucker about to beat my ass. He gonna beat my ass.
I don't like them. Like, what the fuck?
And then they leave the office and they're like, oh, he wasn't going.
He wanted to go.
He wasn't going.
I'm gonna see him again.
I'm gonna see. Sometimes
I'm about to book my next 5 appointments.
I got 5 appointments with him. He wasn't going. I'm always surprised when they rebook with me. That I actually kind of do judge people, Spence. When they rebook with me, I kind of judge them. I'm like, you're fucking stupid.
Why would you do that, you moron?
Like,
you rebooked with me.
For me, you're supposed to rebook with some of them little white ladies that just, affirm your emotions.
Oh, no. Don't you get started.
I know. Right? Because I push people pretty hard. And sometimes I'm like, I apologize. I'm like, you good? You cool with today? Because it's going to be a little the same as today. And they're like, no, I'm ready for it. I'm like, oh, shit, let's go then. We're going to do some good work. But sometimes I'm like, this fucking person's crazy.
You'll never know who. You'll never know.
My human the other day goes, I worried about you wondering who I was or judging me. I said, I did. I did. I said, he's a kind young man. You're quite lovely. And you're scared. I thought about you just being scared. And I thought about how normal that is to be scared. Is it? That's all I thought of. And how I'm going to help you get to the next place and you'll be fine. But I felt a little sorry for some of the things you're going to. And then the students said how much they related to me in some stories, that they were happy to get me. And I said, I'm happy that you got me too. Because another therapist wouldn't have been able to do things that we're doing right now.
Mhm.
So it's a wonderful thing being a therapist. And I tell all of you listening to people, man, you got to trust someone. You know, the stuff that you think that's in your brain that's terrifying, right? It's not as bad as you think it is. And even if it is bad, we can work on it. And most likely it's just an intrusive thing that you don't ever have any intentions of like actually doing. It just pops in there.
Mhm.
And it's just fake BS bullshit. So don't worry about it. Open up to some folks, some safe folks. If they reject you, then that person just wasn't ready for it. Maybe we need to get a therapist to be more open with them to work through those maybe deeper things. But therapists ain't gonna be scared, especially, you know, people that been through some shit. People that got it out the bottom, been through the mud. So that was that first scene. I haven't seen this movie in a long ass time. First thing I immediately thought of was like, this reminds me of my clients.
There you go.
It's sweet, the sweet humans, wonderful humans that think that they're gonna scare me. Like, you gonna think I'm a piece of shit? And I always look at him. You want to go on.
Oh, never mind.
You want to go on.
You would him.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I had a couple this semester that I was like, you not one of the good ones. Like you lose. You legit
are
suck.
a terrible person.
You suck. And I am pray for any woman that ever talks to you. So yeah, I had a couple pieces of shit this year.
Well, moving on.
Yeah. So what were some other cool topics? I got so
hospitalization.
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes, you know, they'll tell you some shit now, Spence.
Right.
You know, they be like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, I'm gonna put your ass in the hospital. Gotcha.
So for our listeners, what how would you initiate somebody that you would actually hospitalize?
Okay.
Is it on their own free will, or is it like, is it that plus, you know,
Question.
your recommendation, or is it, we'll get into it.
So when you're pause, let's backtrack. So if you're under the age of, I think 18, you gotta be a little cautious because they have to notify your parents if, you know, you bring up something. And so not everything is technically confidential. And so, you know, be cautious on a few of the things that you're bringing up. When you're in most professionals' office, or let's say if you're talking to a staff person or a teacher and you say that you're suicidal, they're going to have to nicely, kindly report it. Then they're going to send you to the therapist's office to make sure that there's no real intent. And then it's up to a therapist to determine, is this something that you're going to do now? Or is this just like a thought or like something that you've been dealing with? Suicidality, homicidality. Are you legit losing your beans? Or are you just having like a meltdown and panic attack? I will have many students that are ADHD or autistic, you know, say some things. And they'll be like, you know, I'm going to take my own life if I don't pass this exam. I'm like, are you actually? I'm like, no, it's just something that I'm saying. Like, I feel horrible. I'm not going to do it. It's up to the therapist to really figure out, like, is there real intent to do this? And there's the immediate danger. So some of you are going to be like, well, I don't want to get too open with my therapist because they're going to have me hospitalized. That's not fully true. Most good therapists are going to fully make sure in depth that you're not a danger to yourself. And if you aren't, then they're going to allow you to continue doing your thing. But if you are a danger to yourself, then you need to be honest, because you probably need to go into the hospital and being checked in and making sure that your medication's right, to be, you know, supportive. Maybe you need intensive inpatient therapy and not outpatient. Maybe you need more group stuff. So you be honest with your therapist. If shit's popping off and you're having like real fucking intentions, like wants, need, urges, and like you're about to do something to harm yourself or others, then you need to talk about that. If you're feeling that you maybe possibly are scared of taking your own life because you don't want to hurt anyone else, and it's getting worse and worse and worse, you need to like be very open with your therapist. And if we can do a crisis session, make a safety plan and figure that out and triage you to the place that you need to go if you need to go somewhere. We can set up services to make sure that, you get your homework, like, taken care of. She just get informed like, hey, you're going to be out of school for a while, but you're going to come back and they're not going to know what's going on. You need to be honest. But to be honest, you have to have faith that your therapist isn't going to immediately like throw you away in a dungeon somewhere. I'm not doing that, Spence. I give a lot of people a lot of leeway because I'm going to go fully through it. Like, you're not going to scare me. I can usually tell like, oh, damn, this not good.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely do I have someone hospitalized because of like suicidality. It's usually because a mental break. It's usually because of like a full blown like dissociation or panic attack where I'm like, there's no way you can walk back to your room, and I don't even know how you're gonna eat. Like, I don't even know how, like, you're not talking, you're shut completely down. Or if they're hearing something or seeing something, I'm like, if they're like, oh, I haven't taken my meds in a while, or like, oh, I smoked this and now I'm fucking losing my bananas, we need to go to the hospital. And a lot of students are scared about that, because, maybe they don't have insurance. Maybe most of the time on campus, you got to take a ride with the police officer, and that's fucking traumatizing. It's not always an ambulance that picks you up. It's the officer that puts you in the back. They're usually super trained, but still. Hospitalizations. I feel horrible when I do it. And I'm not going to lie, Spence, some of the kids, they'd be like, man, I can't go. No, man, I can't. It's going to be horrible. I'm like, hey, man, I can't let you leave the office after what you said now. Well, man, you tricked me, man. And I'm like, no, homie, I'm doing this for you. I'm trying to save your life right now. And you can hate me all you want, but I'm making sure that you're good right now. You are not good. From what you told me, you're not good. And in the mask, he's asking him, do you need to be in a safer place than what you are? That's a real therapist doing a real job.
Even though he's coming off like an asshole.
He's coming off pretty stoic. He's coming off pretty autistic himself.
But that was him.
That was
general.
him, the Visine guy, right?
Yeah.
So, two really cool things about therapists, some stories. I think the next thing to get into is, and this is for me and you should talk about. He says, hey, man, I'm about to go to this date. About to go talk to this woman.
Well, woman.
What do we do? Do I go as the mask? Do I go as myself?
Yeah.
And he did really good. He said, go as both. Go as both. I had that little suave, sophisticated, a little dancing and freaking out, doing your thing, tornadoes and shit. I don't know what he did. I forgot.
He did. Yeah. And then he first went as Stanley.
Yeah.
Stanley. He went as him. And then he actually got nervous because he thought that she just wanted to be with the mask. And then he put the mask back on, and then he went full Pepe Le Pew, French guy. Just, shut the door. Shut the door. Shut the window. I don't care. All that stuff. And so, yeah. And that's the thing. I think sometimes we get so nervous around certain people that we think that we need to mask up, and when in actuality we can just be ourselves and we'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Be just fine. So I guess a question there is when do you mask up? And do you think that sometimes it is unnecessary to do so, and then you find that out and then you unmask right away?
It's complicated. It depends on, like you talked about earlier with you, it depends on who you're with and what's the time, place, context, people.
And how much.
Yeah.
How much do you unmask?
It's just complicated. So it's different for every person. I would say I advise a lot of my clients, because with a lot of them, I use these different character narratives of like different identities that they hold. So all the different masks. And it's okay to be like 2 or 3 of them at a time. Because you're like, okay, I'm going to use like these 3 things from this identity. I'm going to mush it into my core identity now, and then I'm going to go out and play. And we all do that. Like when you go to a nightclub, or if you're going into a coffee shop, like there's different masks that you're wearing. You're more reserved in one, you're studious in one. The other one, yeah, you're having a good time, right? You're getting little drinks in you. Maybe you go flirt with someone, maybe not. Maybe I go stand up on the wall and never talk to anyone. Hey, yeah. Like, what's going on here? That's a thick one. Uh, so I find it interesting to push my clients to be themselves, but also like, hey man, we need to change a few variations like here and here, not fully mask. We need to do this. Maybe watch your time limit on talking. So like, as we know with our ADHD folks that come on the pod, fully unmasking is wonderful and like, info dump, but then also there needs to be reciprocity in conversations. Otherwise, now you're just dominating someone, and that's not actually like really awesome for a lot of folks. So how do we moderate that? Where's the timer in your head? Well, now I can hear folks saying, well, now if you tell us to put the timer in our head, now we're masking worried about it. You want to make friends, bro, then there needs to be some modulation of your communication.
You want to be back on the pod. You got to think about the time.
We gotta modulate that thing.
Ding.
It's been 10 minutes.
It's been 10 minutes and I just been talking straight about nothing. Ding.
It's like a homeboy, the black dude from Forrest Gump. Just, I like all types of shrimp.
Oh, got it. We got it.
We got it. You like shrimp.
How much shrimp? That's not a fair comparison.
I know.
Literally mentally, dysfunctional. Just a little bit.
Hey. My people might have been too. Some little guests.
Anyway,
right, moving on. So the mask. I like how this one, he puts on the mask to become this awesome person that everyone loves. Like a lot of autistic folks do that. A lot of us do that in general. I think the good takeaway from this movie is how do you merge those two identities, and how do you have to some fun with both of them? Sometimes I tell students like, hey man, you go and talk to your professor or advisor and like to set some boundaries. Like imagine someone confident as shit. Oh, Wonder Woman. Oh, okay. I need you to go Wonder Woman his ass and fucking beat his ass up and lasso him, Hold up, this sounds way too sexual now.
You're like, wait a minute. I've seen that video before.
Yeah, it's a good video.
It's me, a Spencer, and I'm here to talk about our longtime collaborator, Cure Hydration. Cure is a premium hydrating electrolyte drink mix made with organic coconut water and pink Himalayan salt with no sugar added. It contains 4 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. My go-to flavor is grapefruit, but if you're not into that, you can go and get their variety pack with 8 different flavors to sample. Go to curehydration.com or go to our link tree and use the code DSP20 to get 20% off your entire order today. Hey everyone, thanks for watching our show today. We just wanted to take some time to give a special shout out to our collaborator, Cat and Raven Design. They are a small queer-owned business that specializes in LGBTQ plus pride soaps. They have great designs, some that even look good to eat, but don't. You can get 10% off your entire order if you use the code DSP or go to our link tree. Help support this great small business and help give back to a great community. Also, I will say on top of this is that Stanley thinks that everyone loves this character. But in actuality, the mask is just like this kind of really out of pocket, really just trying to be as out there as possible. He finds it that it's exciting, everything like that, while the mask is literally robbing banks, committing crimes, literally stuck a tailpipe up 2 guys' asses. So
that sounds like a good Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Hey,
Tailpipe
man.
Tuesday. That's what we call it. Tailpipe Tuesday.
Don't knock it till you try now.
I'm gonna knock it. Virgin. So I think that for Stanley's character, he thinks that everybody loves the character, and he really loves the character too. But in actuality, he's putting on a mask that might be some
Damaging.
say like annoying
Yep.
or just a little bit too out there, right? And that happens, I think with us all the time is that, we get overly excited and then we think like just chatting it up and then just immediately going off the rails.
Yep.
And we think like that's cool and that's okay and that we're being funny and everything like that. But in actuality, some people don't find that very entertaining or interesting. And so, it's kind of having that in between.
You said a couple of days ago or recently someone told you those are inside thoughts.
Yeah.
What'd you do? What'd you say? What'd you do? If it's too out there, you don't have to say it.
Might be a little too out there.
Oh, okay.
Might be a little too out there.
You gotta keep doing more inside, Spencer.
You gotta keep that inside. And I was just sometimes when people say that, immediately I go on the defensive.
Yep.
Or even offensive.
Yeah.
Because
let me tell you why you a little punk.
Because it sucks sometimes because you want to be yourself a lot and you want to do that. And they're like, keep those thoughts inside your head. And I'm like, who the fuck are you to tell me what to do?
You judging me?
Huh?
So what if I wanted to jam this squirrel in my ass? What do you care?
Yeah. He likes it.
The squirrel?
Yeah. Seems fine. He seems fine with it. But yeah, I don't know. I get very defensive sometimes when people tell me what to do like that. When they tell me to change my personality, you should change yourself. Don't be who you are. Because I've been hearing that a long time, a lot of my life. And I'm a grown ass person. You don't tell people like, hey, you should keep those thoughts inside your head. Well, especially when it's not a professional setting.
Yep.
No.
Yeah, if it's not a professional setting, yeah.
No, I'm going to be me. You don't like it?
It's fine. And I know you do it to fuck with people too. So like, which might be not fine. So you're pushing boundaries.
Tad of an instigator.
Yeah, you're pushing boundaries. So
yeah, just a little bit. And then I see where they are. I'm just like, well, won't say that then.
Yeah. So I was at work and they were putting these thumbtacks in the board. They were doing like an evaluation of like different things and there all these cards and they couldn't push the thumbtacks in the cork board. And then after they complained like 5 times, they're like, man, this really hurt. This is really hard. I'm like, y'all weak, man. I'm like, y'all need to start lifting some weights. And then everyone's like, and my boss is like, inside thoughts. I remember later in the meeting.
Say something much worse.
It wasn't even that bad. I was like, y'all.
No, I'm saying like you could have. You could have said something much worse if you wanted to.
And I guess, whatever. I'm being too masculine for people now.
I think that's also the problem though, is that like if I say something like that I could have said way worse, but I tamed it down for you, and they're still like,
yeah. Yep.
No, I'm all right. I'm good. Thank you.
I say some things because I know it's going to get jokes. One of my boys, they say, hey man, what do you think about this? My boy's like, yeah, no, I second what the other person said. I'm like, oh, he don't want to say nothing bad. He's a good dude. I said, you remind me of my dad. You ain't got nothing good to say? Shut up. And then I look at my boss is like, why? I'm like, hey man, I'm just making a point. Like, but because the other people were ragging on this one person, technically maybe they thought that I told them to shut up, whatever. I got the mask on sometimes. But let's transition to what you were saying about that. Like,
yeah.
The mask can be very beneficial for many people for many different reasons. But then you start to realize that people, maybe they are in love with that mask and not actually you. But then sometimes you find out that they're in love with actually you. And it's the mask that's pulling you back and pulling you away. And it's making you act kind of like a douchebag and like an idiot. But they actually like the best versions of you, not this idiot that me and you portray to be at times. Because, that is me and you. But also me and you just talking shit is a mask.
Yeah.
It's not the core identity of who we are. It's just one altar that we like to tap into because it's fun. And we're super ADHD and I'll be honest, it's fun to fuck with people. It's like, yeah.
Just to instigate just a little bit.
It just feels good.
Why would you say that?
Yeah. What movie was I watching the other day and it was like no redheads. And I was like, what? I don't know what I was watching. Oh no, we were at the Colts game and there was something on the Jumbotron and they were saying something and they're like, remember, no redheads. It was
do it.
It was the funniest thing. was gonna say I didn't watch any movies yesterday.
That's fine.
Perfect scenario of talking about masking is, in actuality, the people are probably really, really, really in love with the person that isn't masked. But we all believe that, they like this person that's clean cut and straight and good listener and all that. They're going to like the other versions of you too. But we got this idea because people didn't like those versions when we were younger, when maybe a little bit more traumatized and isolated. We're all grown ass adults now. Well, now you don't know nothing. So for a few of you that are listening, my clients love me and students love me, friends love me because I'm unmasked. They didn't, they don't understand why it's me. Boy, I can't give these details away. I told the boy, I said, you know why you like me, huh? Because I'm like Marshawn Lynch, but you just talked about it. He said, Marshawn Lynch is awesome, man. He's just always just him. I said, you need to be more like him. I said, we walk around and we hate that no one ever notices when we're sad or angry, but all you do is mask all the time. Because you were hurt in life, or we were told as men, you can't do this, you can't do that, can't show no emotion, and so we get smaller and we get smaller. And all I get to see is the mask. I said, your mask is so fucking good that everyone thinks you're fine. So you're mad at them for you being good at acting. I said, you're the asshole, not them. And then, so you can see where people might not like my version of therapy because like, you're the asshole.
You're a fucking asshole.
Where other therapists might be like, yeah, man, people are terrible. That's so sad for you. I'm like, no, man. Stop doing that shit. Now, there's a lot of reasons why people do that stuff. And so we actually got into that, right? It's very intricate, these conversations that we're having. I'm very tactful. But the mask, as men, we know it can kill us. And it can harm a lot of women that we're talking to as well, as friends, as siblings, as coworkers, as partners. And so, how do we integrate the mask and how do we get rid of it when we need to? Specifically, also, when we're talking about other mental illnesses too, that we're having to mask all the time, like anxiety, OCD, bipolar disorder, right? ADHD. All right, what we got? We got left. We got, because we're talking about the second scene technically now, because you kind of transition to it a little bit with getting in trouble. So right, he gets in jail. He's in prison.
Yes. So he gets caught being the mask, and so now he's in jail for it. I don't know what. I feel like I ain't got the mask on. I can't prove it. Yeah. But yeah, he's in jail, and then he's kind of giving up on just like saving the day, and then comes in this white woman, Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, boy.
So, yeah, and so obviously that saves the day. Let me tell you something. Get visited by a white woman in jail, you're good. You'll find a way. You'll find a way.
White savior right there. She coming to get you.
If I'm ever in jail, just where my white woman at? Where she is?
Where she is? She's my therapist, my lawyer. She's something. You just need one good one.
Just one of the good ones.
One good one. One good one.
And yeah, so then they have this conversation, just how she likes Stanley rather than the mask. It wasn't about the mask. It was about Stanley. How he treated her. And so, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the scene. And then they almost kiss, and then the guard just C-blocked. Total straight C-blocked. He said, oh, hey. You good over there? What's happening?
When she was trying to kiss him, I was like, yeah, get it, son.
You look like a fucking, like you're a bear rubbing up against a tree.
So we kind of talked about it already. Like, she was in love with the real him. To be fair, though, she wouldn't have got to know the real him because he was too anxious and probably would have never spoken to her. So it was the mask that was able to woo her to introduce himself, to get into it, right? And then she's like, oh, but I really love the way that Stanley treats me. Mm-hmm. And so I was thinking like, I can get your ideas on some stuff and you might take it one way, you might not. But, this new age of hookup culture and women and men, it's all bullshit. By the time you come to my office, everyone wants the same thing. They want an honest relationship where they can be comfortable and communicate, love. At the end of the day, everyone wants that one thing, which is safe, vulnerably, like good. They want intimacy, emotional and physical. Everyone's, I'm just about this. I won't have much set. I'm gonna spread that tush everywhere. Mush that tush. Push the tush?
There's only so much jam in the jar. It can't be spreading everywhere.
Yeah. Jesus.
Only a certain amount.
Yeah.
Before there's none left.
Hey, man. There's only so much pinochle you got in there.
Pinochle.
It's so true, man. Everyone comes with the same bullshit. I'm talking to them, and then they end up being hung up over this one person, or it's just hilarious. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what gender you are, people usually want connection. Maybe now it's always not, one person. Maybe it's some polyamory stuff, maybe, but most of the time is they want a safe connection. Yeah, different thoughts on that. But a safe connection. And I bring this up, this is a common theme I see in all these people that want to date or that want people in their lives, is they want a good person.
Mm-hmm.
They want a good person, and he is a good person. So a lot of days we're like, hey, man, women might go after assholes or people that may treat them poorly, this and that. Those are the dudes that get attention because they're going up and talking to all these women. But actually being like real love and content and happiness and joy and serenity, long marriages, healthy children, that's the good stuff. That's the love. That's the stuff that Stanley brings to the table, not the mask. The mask is going to do you dirty. The mask is going to sleep with your sister. The mask is going to be smelling your mama panties.
What are you talking about?
The mask.
Piece of shit.
The mask.
Mom and sister going after both. I don't even have a sister. I'll find them.
I'm gonna impregnate your mom, and then we go. The mask was people fall for the mask. The kind of suave, sophisticated, good talker. They're like, oh, he's so good talking. Okay. I wonder why he's so good talking, because he talked a lot. He's pushed that tush everywhere.
Yeah, look, it's a numbers game. All right.
The numbers game.
But at the same time, it's like, how do you get somebody if you're not a little bit out there?
Correct.
Right? How do you do that?
How do you merge this version of the mask and Stanley, but still stay connected to the true identity of Stanley?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to start talking. And I advise my clients, maybe we do need to go on Tinder. And they're like, nah, I ain't going to be having sex with all these people. I didn't tell you put nothing nowhere. I said, I just want you to DM some people. God damn it.
Why are you trying to make me fuck them, man? Why?
Why? I had to, hold up now. Keep it in your pants. Why? I was like,
to fuck them if you don't want to.
Yeah. Why is it when I recommend something, immediately people are like, I'm not having sex? I'm like, I didn't tell you that. I want
you eat more food. I'm not having sex. All right.
I'm not putting that thing in that other thing. Hey, I'm not putting that. Hey. It's hilarious. I'm like, I told you to do this so we can work on our conversation skills. I want you to go to this maybe coffee shop. Maybe we can start talking to people there. And if we're there for a decent amount of time, right, couple months, we're going to start seeing some regulars. When you start seeing some regulars, well, maybe now you'll like start some small conversations. Maybe you'll build up your friend networks. Maybe those friends will introduce you to more people, and maybe you'll date those individuals. I wanted you to start downloading Hinge or Bumble, something safe. Start working on your small talk. I know you hate small talk, but that's the only way you're going to meet someone. You're not going to, just meet someone on the street and then like, now we fucking. Like you want a real.
If you do, probably not good.
It's probably, well.
They probably got hepatitis.
He got what we call the HIV. Good news is they got PrEP. So,
Oh.
so for real though, You got to slowly work on conversations. Spencer's right. You got to put yourself out there, and you still need to stay true to the core identity, which is the magnificent person that you've always been, which is that person that maybe is a little bit more insecure, that maybe is a little bit more shy, that maybe does like a lot of cartoons and stuff, but really knows how to treat people. Why? Because they've been treated like shit before. And thus they never will treat anyone like they've been treated. That core identity you that might have been hurt in the past, that core identity, that's the best versions of you. Now we just got to add a little bit of confidence. Give you maybe, nicer clothes. Maybe get you brush your teeth, comb your hair. And then we can meet some really cool people. And I always tell people, hey, you can put on the full mask, but they're going to like that person. And you're always going to wonder, like, do they like, no, they're not going to actually like you. I'm like, hey man, if you're weird and someone smiles at you when you're weird, you're like, oh, we're friends. Did we just become best friends? And then next thing you know, you're having sex.
Hey, smile sex. There it is. I was like, wow.
You like pigeons too?
You got, let's do this.
Hey, did you see the meme I sent you where they said,
Uh-oh.
It's not that funny. I know. It wasn't one of the Fortnite ones. It was the pigeon lady, and they said it looks like that British dude.
Oh, yeah.
That Piers Morgan?
Piers Morgan, yeah.
Funny as shit.
They do look alike.
They do.
Very strange. You're like, if I ever see him with pigeon shit on him, I swear I've seen him before.
Looks familiar.
Home Alone too.
Oh, so many intrusive thoughts. I just watched a reel the other day where these fucking young kids put a bunch of laxatives in like some bird food, and then the birds just start shitting everywhere on the beach.
You sent me that one. That one's funny. That was so funny.
That was so funny.
It's everywhere. And people are just looking in the sky. Why? What is happening?
I know. So fucked up.
At that point, you shouldn't be looking up in the sky because
like a pink,
right in your face.
Pink eye. Yeah. I love this podcast.
Yeah.
All right, so I hit the hookup culture stuff. I think in there the last thing is he talks about repression. I've got these things who I am, and I put the mask on, and all the stuff I've been repressing come out. I'm like, damn, you've been repressing robbing banks and like macking on women.
Yeah.
Like, he's an intrusive thought motherfucker. Like, damn.
Pretty much is. He's one of those guys who just doesn't speak up when he's supposed to.
Yeah.
Right? We've all been there.
Yep.
We've all kind of just gone along with shit that happens. Oh, this person took credit for this. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to make waves.
Yep.
It's happened to us all. I can say it's happened to me.
Yep.
Something like where I should have spoken up. Didn't happen because I didn't want to make waves.
Yep. No waves.
So
it happens. And as we know, a lot of our listeners are women or femme identifying, and it's going to happen a lot, specifically to women as well, because the more marginalized identity. And I talk to folks all the time. How do we win? How do we get you to build upon what we've did last year in therapy? You did a little bit better at having these conversations, but the other day you told me how they didn't give you your raise yet. You were supposed to get it. Well, how come we haven't asked again? Well, I'm going to after this day. Okay, I'm holding you to it. Because you've done better at advocating for yourself, but now we need to go up a level. I need you to be a bit more nasty. As Trump would say, she's a nasty woman. And then a lot of women started taking ownership of that. Oh, yeah, I'm a nasty fucking woman. Fuck you. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to want this, and you're going to treat me right, and go fuck yourself. I'm not being friendly anymore. I try to teach a lot of people it's okay to be angry. They're like, oh, no, it's a sin. That's a sin. I'm like, no, it's okay to be angry.
Who do you talk to? People on the prairie? What the fuck? It's a sin. I can't do it, sir. I can't say that to my boss. I can't. Who are you talking to? It's a sin.
There's a sin. They'll take my children.
I can't be talking like that.
Where's my bonnet?
Go fetch the water.
Oh, he shit his pants again while you washing the underwear.
Now, you know what? Shout out to all women on the prairie hand washing shit stains.
I just pissed my pants.
You're gonna have to hand wash that.
I think I just pissed myself. I haven't held it in for so long.
Guess we not having stew tonight.
It reminds me of Edgar from Men in Black and his wife. Give us some show water. Here you go, Edgar. Here.
More.
More. No, real talk. So, no, think about Walking Dead and how, Walking, I'm taking it back.
All right.
I forgot the white lady's name, but she ends up being a badass with the gray hair and ends up killing everyone, being like the best killer in there. She was Yondu's wife, and then Yondu, the guy in there, I forgot his racist ass name. He dies.
Yeah. That nigga won. That nigga Yondu.
The white guy. I don't know what his name was. It's probably Edgar. God, what is her name? She's like the badass in it. Whatever. She ends up being this very polite, scared, innocent, and then she eventually comes into like the best version of herself. But then she ends up committing too much murder of zombies, and then she gets like kind of fucked up. Yeah.
You know, hey. Sometimes you gotta do what you
Looking
gotta
up
do.
the cast of Walking Dead.
Carol?
Yeah, that's it. Carol.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, they talked to Nas. They said, Nas, how you training your women to be more like Carol? Carol's a fucking stud.
Yeah.
Stud. Okay. Talked about a lot of different things today. Had fun. Monday pod. Lots of education. Lots of metaphors. Lots of visual representations. Right. We're piecing together many different things and having a ton of fun and, you know, washing some underwear. So,
Let's get them done, so.
More.
More.
All right. We got to wrap it up because I'm legit about to tingle.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Go check out. So, like we said, we're not going to be doing like a ton of our sponsors at one time, but shout out to Cure Hydration. You can go on to our link tree or down the link in this description, where all of our great collaborators are, and you can get a discount. You can use the code DSP or DSP20 to get 20% off your entire order. And then also it comes back to us, and then we can make this pod even better.
Yeah. So it'll save you some and help us out. And it legitimately tastes really freaking good. It's a really good product.
It does. I'm a big fan of the grapefruit. Grapefruit, Cal. Yeah.
You like grape drink, huh?
I knew you were about to say some shit.
You fucking you people.
Jesus. Well, with that, thank you everybody for watching. I'm Spencer. That's Nas, the Different Spectrums Podcast.
All right, everyone. Much love. And remember, take care of yourselves.
Or don't.
That shit's completely up to you. Peace.